All right. Hello, dear students, and good evening. Welcome to our today's online class. This is the first class for 2024 in preparation to GCE 2024. This is the first class. So for all of you who are online, we are very, very happy to meet you online on this 7th day of August 2023 as we prepare for 2024. So this is just a tentative program of how our classes are going to run online. So actually, we are going to modify this program a bit. And if you look here, you see that we are using the notes of season 1. You can get these notes from the website of www.gcepanel.com. So according to the design of this program, a single lesson is to be taken during a particular period. So if we have 2 periods a day, then we expect to take about 2 lessons. But for lengthy lessons, we might take just one of the lengthy lessons. For today, we are not focused so much on those who have paid and all of that, but attending the class today so that we can get the guidelines and many other things is important. I know many people are not attending today. Maybe they are planning to start next week, as some have been texting me. I hope that next week, everybody should actually be there. For those of you who are waiting that you start attending all of these classes and revision classes in December, if you don't yet have the basics at this moment, then it is your own fault. As our program stipulates, we start the revision from scratch, which means we start from what you have already done in lower seat, from the first thing in lower seat, and we go as fast as possible so that by November, December, we should be through with lower seat work, okay? And we start the upper seat work by the first week of December, and we move as fast as possible again. For now, till the period of November, we will be working just with pure maths, But from December, or even before that, we are going to split the math class into 2 because we would have already trashed pure maths by that time. We have already trashed it. We will now divide into pure math mechanics and pure math statistics. However, the pure math lessons for upper seat will then continue, which therefore means that, for example, if you have 2 classes a week, the class on Monday is going to be for pure maths, and if you have another class on Wednesday, depending on whether you are doing mechanics or statistics, you are now going to attend either the mechanics class or the statistics class. You cannot attend the 2 because they'll probably be running simultaneously. So you have to choose one. In fact, in your registration too, for those who registered online, you have to check from your forms and see which of them you chose so that we can see how we can customize the platform so that you actually attend just the class you have registered for. Our registration this year actually is not expensive. For advanced level, just 3,000 or 3,500, normally 3,500. Business are thinking that we should bring it down to 3,000. We are looking into that to see if we can do it. Then for ordinary level is just 2,500 francs a month, and you have classes twice a week. As we have said equally, our strategy online is exam focused. For those of you who are workers actually who are interested in being part of this our platform or in studying, maybe you don't have time to really, you are in an evening school, you don't have much time. I think this platform can give you a push to prepare you better since we are focused on exams. So as I said before, this is a crash lesson and you can get past questions, GCE materials, these notes, the solution manual, that is the past compiled solutions for the past years and the answers from us. Okay, you just have to talk to the admin or you can discuss with me that I'm taking the class and you'll see how we can get these booklets to you in digital form or in hard copy. All right, so today we are going to take the first lesson, but just to create your indulgence for you to know that if most of these lessons are already online on our website, just go to GCE Math Panel on YouTube, or you go to GCE Panel, see on YouTube, it will take you to the same channel, okay? And most of these notes too, we have equally put on the website where you can download them. You can download the notes because we don't have time to come and be sharing notes in class, okay? So from here, whenever you attend class, you can always go to the website and you download the notes of that particular class. We are equally integrating quizzes for particular chapters. For example, when you finish a particular lesson, you should be able to answer a quiz on that lesson. According to this, our plan too for this year, we are making sure that at the end of the month, we have what we call our GCE panel super quiz or super mock or whatever, which prepares you actually for the GCE, because we will not wait until the end before we start preparing students for GCE. So as we are working at the moment, we are equally preparing them. I would like to appreciate all those who are online for this first class, and equally so I'm going to show you how the program might probably be, okay? So according to the scratch that we have here, this template, it shows that according to last year's program, we have indices, logarithms, and surds. Then that is followed by quadratics, We have partial fractions, polynomials, and identities. Most of these lessons are already online on GCE Math Panel or GCE Panel on YouTube. So you can actually watch these lessons from there. But now, since every year we do modifications of the lessons and so on, it may also good to attend the class. Then here we have functions. In course of the preparation, you can always discuss your questions in class. When I talk about class, I mean maybe in the WhatsApp group where you can be interactive. But you equally have tutorials at the end of the month. These special tutorials is exam focused, where we answer past questions, we discuss them. So at that time, you can equally discuss your questions. And the most important thing about our platform is that we are so much focused on discipline. All these useless posts that you get on social media and post, they are strictly prohibited in the platform. And we don't want students or instructors or whoever to break bounds. Whatever message you have to send to the platform outside or during the school period should be something directly related to what you are studying. If the message is not related to what you are studying, then you have to leave it till after the GCE. After the GCE, you can post whatever you like, but make sure that whatever you're posting should be morally perpendicular. Don't post something that beats the requirements of morality, okay? And by morality here, we mean strict observation of natural and normal customs that back our culture here in Africa, not those Western cultures. So equally, we'll be discussing on periodic functions and curves, limits and continuity, differentiation and its applications, curve sketching, circles, trigonometry, integral calculus. Actually, I think from chapter 15 here, or 16, we probably start this maybe in November. Because according to the plan that we have, we should trash most of these lessons by November. We should have trashed most of these lessons. And from there, we are now going to split the second class of the week. All right, you're having a network problem. I'm really sorry about that. I'm sorry about that. Okay. So from that period, we will now split the second part of the class, not the whole class, but the second part of the class. Okay. The second part of the class is going to be either mechanics or statistics. So you choose one of the classes because you cannot join the two at the same time. Then we move right down to binomial expansion and series. We already have this particular lesson online. We equally have a circles online. These topics I'm talking about are well explained. Chapter 11, this one we have a curve sketching is very, very good for what you already have online. And then we will move to relations and logic, complex numbers, inequalities, matrices and transformations, vectors and vector geometry, a linear relationship. But we have modified the program at the moment such that on Monday, you actually be doing algebra. This algebra will inform things like indices, logarithms, surds, and so on. While on Wednesday, where you have the second phase of the class, we'll be working with matrices and transformations. So during this period, it's like we are doing math, but we have divided the math class into two. The period for Mondays, for now, is for matrices and it is for algebra, while the one on Wednesday is for matrices and transformations. Then you continue with vectors and other topics will follow. And as I've equally said, by November, we were going to split the second part of the class. So on Mondays, by that time now in November, we'll be having our pure maths on Monday. Meanwhile, on Wednesday, or how we rearrange it, we are going to be having either pure maths, mechanics, or pure maths with statistics, and you'll be able to join just one of the classes because you cannot join the two classes at the same time. Any questions?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, please ask your question.
Say, I think you are the only two of us in this group.
That should not bother you, okay? There are others who are equally going to have this.
Yes,
so whenever we begin, most of the time when we begin, it's always like that. So I think it's up to you, right?
Yes, sir. There's no noise.
Yeah, so it does not really matter whether, even if it's just one person, even if there's nobody, the class still goes on. That's the funny thing. The only thing that can actually disrupt the class should be connection. Because once we skip one thing in the program, like what I've sent in the group, once they skip one thing, it draws us back by 1 week or one class, and it's going to disturb the program as we progress. Which therefore means that even if there is connection and the class is skipped, then that class should be pushed, or they can reschedule the class for another day, and the program continues uninterrupted. Many of the people, they're sending me messages on WhatsApp. I have problem with this. I have not registered. I have this, that. So I'm just saying that they can attend today, but many don't want But with time, don't bother. That is how it is. However, like we said, whether there's somebody or not, the class still holds because we're not going to skip any lesson that's been programmed for any day. Okay. So do you have another question again related to this or? Yes, any other question? So are you going in for pure maths, mechanics, or statistics? All right, I think you equally have a connection problem. Okay, so I understand about that. You usually have these problems and all of that. You need good connection so that you can able to communicate better or well. Now let me see this person that is trying to send a message to us. Okay, okay. All right. So I think we can take the first class of today, which is absolute value equations. So we have absolute value equations.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so let me open the lesson.
Yes, sir.
Yes, please.
Since my network is alternating, I might
Yeah.
like disturb you.
Yeah,
My network
sometimes.
might cut and come back, cut and come back.
Yes, I understand. Even sometimes too, sometimes it even affects the teacher too. But we've tried to make the connection in such a way that that should not be an issue. Yeah, so we understand. Students always go off and on like that. We know how our country is, so anything can happen at any time. And sometimes we even start, somebody is talking, but the mouth is moving, but you cannot hear anything. So most of those things happen. All right, so let's start the first lesson of today. I think we just take one lesson with these explanations. I don't know if you can see my screen. All right, I think. All right. All right, so we're going to start with absolute value equations. That's the first lesson. For those who missed this class, they can equally watch this lesson on YouTube. Okay.
Yes, sir. I can't hear you.
Yes, please.
I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
All right, he can't hear me. All right, let me take off the whiteboard. All right, you can't hear me, right?
Yes, sir.
Is the lesson too fast?
A little bit, sir.
All right, let me readjust the settings so that we go according to your pace. Yes, students are always saying that we are fast and that I don't know why they always complain that we are fast. When I'm not seeing that we are fast.
Because you're a mathematician now. You're a
Um,
mathematician, so you can.
no, not really. Mathematician, even the students are mathematicians too now. Mm? They are
You are
mathematicians
still
too.
learning now. You
Ah,
are learning from me.
but they are learning, but not again like lower students, right? They are soldiers now preparing for exam. So we expect that they should faster. All right, let me remove these settings and increase the volume so that all right, just a minute.
Yes, sir.
All right, so let me share the screen now. All right, you can see the screen, right?
Appear for me. Okay, I can see the screen now, sir.
Yes, it takes about few minutes. Okay, you can see others join now, right? So this first lesson of today, when you have this absolute value equation, which reads 2x minus 3, absolute value of that is equal to 7. To solve this can be done in two ways, like we explained before, if I was taking the video back. So we can divide by, we split the equation into two. This is the first thing we can do. Or the second procedure is to square both sides. For some people, to split will be shorter and faster, while for others, will prefer to square both sides. But the squaring of both sides is very sweet because it can be applied in many cases. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Yeah, KG, welcome to the board. So now to split, this is how we are going to split the equation. When we have the absolute value of A is equal to B, then we can split it as follows. We will say that this A here, let me use a pointer. We will say that this A is equal to negative B, or A is equal to plus B. That's how we do the splitting for absolute value equations. For example, the absolute value of negative 4 is plus 4. Again, the absolute value of plus 4 is still plus 4. So we can split like that. Now, let us go ahead with solving. So with this one, yes, this is the first procedure. The second way is to square both sides like this. So if you have A, absolute value of A equals B, you can either split method 1 or method 2, we square both sides. So from here now, in solving this equation, using the first method, we'll say that 2x minus 3 is equal to 7, or 2x minus 3 is equal to negative 7. This one is also very important because you can equally apply it when you are doing curve sketching, or some of you are doing further maths and all of that, because sometimes you see a curve where you have to find a point of intersection or a turning point, and you have an equation like this, you have to solve to come out with that. So using this first method from here, we solve these two separately. For this, we are going to have 2x is equal to 10, or here, 2x is equal to negative 4. So therefore, x equals 5, or x equals negative 2. And the good thing about this is that you can even test your answers inside the equation. Let's take 5, for example. 2 times 5 is 10. 10 minus 3 is 7. Absolute value of 7 is 7. Perfect. We take negative 2. We have 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. Minus 3 is negative 7. Absolute value of negative 7 is plus 7. So you can start this at the two values. Yes, please.
So if you cross and you cross what? You cross you have 10 and you multiply by 2.
At this point, you have to divide by 2. Are you in opposite?
Yes, sir.
Because sometimes
okay,
we
now sir.
okay. Sometimes we skip most of these details because we assume that since you have already done Form 5 work and lower seed work, then you're focused on the exam now. So, but that is why we always emphasize to start from scratch. You begin the program from lower seed work, so that people should not be asking us questions very soon. But as time goes on, our speed will also be increasing, because you know that as you're working online, you'll be becoming stronger. Therefore,
yes, sir.
All right. So for the second method, you can equally square. All right, let's take this one. I think I have some exercises here. You can use the exercises.
I cannot see, sir. It's too small.
All right, when you get the notes, you'll be able to see it better. Okay. So for the second method, we can square both sides. So say 2x minus 3, the absolute value, we square it, is equal to 7 squared. Now for the left-hand side, 2x minus 3 squared means 2x minus 3 into 2x minus 3. When we expand that, we'll have 4x squared minus 12x plus 9 is equal to 7 squared, which is 49. We bring like terms together. We'll have 4x squared minus 12x minus 40 is equal to 0. Yes, it's equal to 0. Now at this point, say this is a quadratic, but we can divide all through by 4 first. When we divide all through by 4, we'll be left with x squared minus 3x minus 10. With me, I love factorization. So whatever method you use, you simplify, your result will be negative 2 and plus 5.
Mosquito.
Are we together?
Yes, sir. It's mosquito that was disturbing me.
All right. Must be the Douala people. All right, on this right-hand side here, we have... Okay, yeah, on the people. That's good for you. People have all the good connection in Cameroon. All right, so here, these are exercises. On this particular one, there are 5 exercises here. The good thing about the exercises is that we have put the solutions here. We have the solutions. It does not mean that all the time we'll be putting the solutions. When you're beginning like this, we make it sweet so that people can enjoy it. At the end, I will not give any answer again. That time now you have to be sweating on your own. I mean, it's not that bad now.
Yes, sir, not bad.
It's not that bad. I'm not getting the voice of the other person that is with us. Hello to the
Okay, it's online.
other participants. Hello, good evening. Our
Mr.
classes are
KG.
interactive because you can
Mr.
ask
KG,
anybody.
he has
Can
not turned
ask,
his mic on, sir.
oh, I don't know. I'm going to inform, put in,
His
ask
mic
him,
is
and I've
still
sent in the
off.
group. Okay, I think I saw him when he was putting it off. It's not because some people prefer that you attend the class online with their mic off so they don't disturb.
Hello, sir.
All right, good evening. I can get your voice now.
Okay, Mr. Fred, good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Thank you so much.
Like
Your volume is too low. Can you come closer to your mic or raise your voice?
I tell you, it's really low.
okay, can you get me very well now?
Perfect. Very good
Yes,
now.
I'm getting Mr. KG.
Welcome to today's class.
Hello.
Yes, we can
Hello,
get
good
you.
evening.
Welcome to
Thank you,
today's class.
sir.
So where are you
Thank you, sir.
attending the class from?
I'm from Douala,
Okay, we have these are the people that own the country. You're welcome to class.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
All right. So today we are taking the
You can
first
own this
lesson.
country.
Class
I
like
can
this is
see
supposed to
sure.
be exactly. With class like this, it has to be interactive, live, because sometimes you can even attend a class and then you forget some of your problems. Unlike people
Exactly, sir.
come back, crack their head, they really have other problems, which will not be good. Okay, so we are going now to the second example. So this example
Okay.
2, each of this example is testing a particular level to see how you understand the topic. So here we have the absolute value of x minus 4, then plus 3x is equal to 12. So with this, most of these types will have a single root. The previous one that we solved had 2 different answers. It has 2 roots. But when you solve most of these ones that has this form, they mostly have just a single value. So this is what you're going to do here. Here we'll have x plus 4 plus 3x equals 12, or we are splitting it, or the negative of it, the negative of what you have inside here, negative to x minus 4 plus 3x equals 12. So equally, some people too prefer to square both sides, but to square both sides, good that first of all carry 3x to the right hand side so that it does not stress you. So working with this, the first one, when you open out these brackets, we'll just be left with 3x plus x, which is 4x.
3x plus
Yes, and then minus 4 should be equal to 12. Or, all right, so from this, we'll have 4x equals to 12 plus 4, which is 16. And from here, x is going to be equal to 4.
what do I to yes, sir.
Yeah, x
So
equal
what
to
if you just divide directly without showing the working?
that advanced level now like this, you have more marks for method and working than your answer. So it therefore means that you're going to lose some marks for method. You have the mark for accuracy for answer, but your method marks might, I'm not sure you like that to happen. Yeah, anyway, they'll hardly give this for
I
paper.
have a question for you,
Yes, ask a
sir.
question.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm just confused. This year, my first time to enter or opposite, so I'm confused. I'm seeing A level pure math. I don't know if this for
If this for technical or grammar.
General,
it's grammar.
I don't understand, sir.
Yes,
It's grammar.
all
Grammar.
these
Talking about
basics.
pure
Yes, this
yes,
pure math, everything that is done in pure math, the technical schools do it because I teach in both systems. When you come now to mechanics and statistics, that is where now we are going to choose some of the things that you do and some that you don't do. Even equally with pure math, there are topics that you will not need them based on your trait, and I'll tell you, you don't need this one. And with the previous years, we always separate the technical from the grammar. Are we together? So when we have more technical students, then we are going to separate. As you're attending the class, if the meeting ends, you join again following the same link I've sent to the group, okay?
And in the channel, the YouTube channel.
Yes. Yeah, so in 10 minutes, you will see that this class will automatically go off because it has been set to be like that. So when the class ends, you will join again in 1 or 2 minutes, okay?
I cannot
Cannot get me?
So that man, everybody is miking.
All right. So if you have a lot of connection problems, you always try to easily send a message to the group or you text so they can see what you are saying.
Just
Okay.
text.
All right. So the second way to do this now is okay. When we break it, this is what we are going to have. All right, let me just tell him to text. Please text. That is MG.
Okay, sir.
Right on the screen. Say right on the screen.
All right, I'm sure you might not see this. All right, let me just tell him on screen directly. Sure. Please text. Please text. The KG. The connection. Not the best. I don't know whose background is this with this type of noise like this. All right, so let's continue then, since I've already sent the message. So at this point now too, with this one, we expand and simplify. Our result will be x equals 4. So most of these ones, when we work like this, we have repeated roots. So the answers are the same when we split, or maybe we use other methods to solve. The answers are identical. These are sample exercises here of this lesson. The first period has just ended. We are in the second period now. So these are sample exercises, just this particular second one. Normally now, during class live, we'll not be taking a lot of questions because it's going to slow us down a bit. You can always respond to the questions when they're asked in the WhatsApp group. There's some people take a very long time to ask questions, so it might slow us down a bit. We are very sorry about that, but you know these things should be put in place that really makes the working, because working online is really difficult. And the most important thing about this is about managing it. And working online for the past 7 years or up to 8, at least I think I have mastery and understanding of most of how most of these online things function.
Past 7 years, sir. Wow.
Yeah, since the beginning of the crisis, I think so. Yeah. All right, so this is the example 3 that we have. If you have this type, x minus 4 absolute value plus 3 equals 0. The previous case, there was no 0 here. We had a known value,
use the
0
same
value.
method?
You can use the same method, but I'm going to tell you here, be careful with this one. To satisfy the equation, x must be a negative value. When you solve this one, I'm sure you have 2 answers, but not all the answers will be correct. Let us write down and then you see. So here, if this thing here is positive, if you have a plus sign here, then only yes, and then it means that x needs to have a negative value. X must be a negative number for this thing to work. But since if it is negative now, like this example here, then x needs to be positive. Anyway, you don't need to know that. You can always solve and then you test your answer. So let us split this one. We have x minus 4 plus 3 equals 0, or negative into x minus 4 plus 3 equals 0. From here, from the first one, you have x equals 1. And if you look at the second one, you're going to have x equals negative 2. But let us test these answers and see if all of them are correct. So in this case like this, you have to be very careful. You may have 2 answers, but not all are correct. And they'd like to set this type of things for MCQ. Let's test 1. 1 minus 4 is negative 4. Sorry, it's negative 3.
4. Negative 3.
Yes, absolute value of negative 3 is plus 3. Right? Now, so we have 3 here. 3 plus 3 times 1 is 3. 3 plus 3 is 6, right?
6.
Which is not equal to 0 now.
No, sir, it's not equal to 0.
So it means that this answer is not correct, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you have an answer, but the answer is not correct. So we have to be really careful with this one. I like to say this type of things. All right. And then this other one now. So you have to be very careful with this particular form. Here now, if we test x equals, let's take negative 2. Negative 2 minus 4 is negative 6. The absolute value of negative 6 is plus 6. Plus 6. Now 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. Right?
Yes,
so
sir.
plus 6 plus negative 6 is equal to 0. So the only correct answer is the second one.
0.
So though there are 2 values, only x equals negative 2 satisfies the equation.
So what if you leave the answer, you leave the 2 answers like that?
No, you must. That's why they call it advanced level. You cannot have all the marks.
Wow.
1 is wrong. It means that you yourself you don't know that it's correct. So You have to give a reason. That's why they call it the advanced level. Well, I think another way that we could do this, maybe we carry this plus 3 to the right hand side and then we square both sides. That will make us to run away from this problem. Yeah, so if you do that, yeah. So if you carry this one to the right hand side and square both sides, we are going to have, I think, x squared, minus,
plus.
so if we open this one, we're going to have 8x plus 16 plus 16. I'm just expanding just this one like this. Then if I carry this 3x to the right hand side and square it, I'll have 9x squared.
9x squared.
Yes, 9x squared.
Like
so
terms.
Yes, from here now, bringing like terms out. If I bring this one to the left hand side, or maybe take everything to the right hand side, I have 9x squared minus 8x squared. 8x squared. We carry this negative 8x to the right hand side, it becomes plus 8x.
Plus 8.
Plus 8x, and then we carry 16 to the right hand side, it becomes minus 16, right?
Minus, yes, sir.
So this is equal to 0. So you see that 4 is common. You can divide all through by, sorry, 8 is common.
All through by 4.
Yes, by 4. Let's just take 8. You have x squared plus x plus x minus 2 is equal to 0.
0.
So when you factorize this one, what are you going to have? Or which other method you want to use? So is there a factor?
There's a factor.
So we have x plus 2 into x minus 1 is equal to 0. So at the end, you still have the same answers now. Because you're still going to have x equals negative 2 here. And here we'll have x equals plus 1. And we still have to decide. So whatever method you use, you will still have to decide. So there's no escape. I like this type of problems because it has to clear people's brains. You see very well. Enjoy the class. Okay, so this is with this exercise. I think I can clean the bottom. We go to the next page. Are we together? All right, some part trying to take down something. Good. So this is the next one. So with this type, we have just 1 minute to the end of the class. When it ends, you will join the class again. When you have this type, this is what you do. Okay. When you have absolute value on left hand side equals to absolute value on right hand side, just square both sides. Okay, so just square both sides. You can separate away, but separating will make you to suffer a lot. So we square both sides, we are going to have x squared plus 3, x plus 3 squared is equal to x minus 5 squared. We expand, we are going to have 6x plus 9 equals negative 10x plus 25. When you, because this x squared, you cancel out this other 20x squared here. These two cancel out. So at this point now, we will have our 16x equals 16 and x equals 1. So when we solve these particular cases, we always end up just with a single root. So from here, x is equal to 1. Okay. We have x equals 1. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so we have x is equal to 1. Now the next example, at the end of this now, we can discuss one or two things. So when the coefficients of x are the same, we have just a single root. Coefficient of x here is just 1. The coefficient of x here is also 1. So we expect to have a single root. So these are exercises related to this example on the right-hand side. I've told you where you can get the notes. The next thing, another example again. Now this one is very, very sweet.